When you look at all those, to connect into the values that employees have, things that people value in remote work. HBR did a piece recently that flexibility and self-direction are actually really a key piece for mental health for employees. Does that help with burnout? Does it help with really the place where your employees are being productive? How do you see the new work environment working that way?
So when I had all these people working for me remotely and stuff, one of the challenges we had was that they could work too much. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that may sound like I may have business owners going, "What are you talking about? That I would be happy if my employees work too much." And actually, though, you have legal exposure if they're clocking all these hours and they're not accounting for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also have if they're locking all these hours and then you got to pay for it and you weren't expecting it, right? If they're an hourly, so there are some legal compliance issues you should think about. But more importantly, what we noticed is that these people would not turn off. They would just keep working and working and working, and they would like come back to their computers after dinner or when their kids went to sleep, and all of a sudden we're getting emails and Slack messages and all that. And so pretty quickly I had to find structural ways to help them stop, because they were doing it because they cared. They were doing it because they were committed. They were doing it because they were great employees, but I wasn't going to keep them. Remember that we talked about those stay interviews. They were not going to stick around long term if they burned out. And so we created a few rules. We took a page out of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, of we literally had to coach people over and over and over every night. Remember, close your laptop. Close your laptop all the way down. Like, just don't turn up, shut it. The act of physically shutting it is almost like a little trigger in your brain. I'm done with work, right? Then we would say, if you're working in an office, I want you to shut the door. At the end, when you're done, if you're done for the day, close that laptop, shut the door, and be done until the next day. We promise we will text you if there's an emergency. If there's something only you can handle, we will call you. We will get a hold of you. That probably will never happen, though, right? It's just people feel like, well, I got to keep working. And so when we started talking about that and telling them that, they had the permission to not to overwork, right? I gave them the permission of okay, my job cares about me, and they want me to have work-life balance and not to overdo it. The third thing we did, we said, listen, if you're one of the people who has that flexibility, you are allowed to work at 8 o'clock at night because we don't care when you get your work done as long as it's done today. Then we would coach them. Maybe you don't send 500 emails at people at 8 o'clock at night, right? So there are ways to delay your emails going out in all different email programs. So we coach them on, hey, can you just put that out to delay to not go till the next morning, right? And we coach people to say, listen, if you get emails at 8 o'clock at night from someone because they work late at night, that's just when they work, you are under no obligation to respond to them until you're back in the office. And this sounds silly, but we just had to talk about it and remind people that those were the expectation. The expectation was not that you stop and work. It was that you stop and go and do something else and be in your life at night and pay attention to your kids or whatever. The work will wait for you in the morning. And again, if there's an emergency, that was our last line. If there was an absolute emergency, we will text you. If we have to get a hold of you right away, right? And it almost never happened. The last thing we did is we actually did this thing called if you're wired, you're fired. Fortunately, I never had to fire anybody. But we had this little rule, and it was if you go on vacation or you're out of the office for 4 more days, you must have an out of office that says you are not going to read their emails, and they should resend their email to you when you come back if it's really important for you to see it. And then give them who else they can go to, if whatever. So one, expectations, I'm not replying. I'm not going to read your email. I'm gone, right? And I'm really gone, and my job wants me to be gone, right? Two, when they came back, we would do what we called an ostrich meeting, which is like the team would fill in that person on what they missed, what's important, what's been going on, what emails should you maybe go back and read because maybe Sally from that one client who drives us nuts is probably going to call you today, and you might want to go get caught up on those 3 emails. But like everything else, we just got you caught up. And then they would screen share, and we would have them go into their inbox. We did this like the first 10 minutes they were back from vacation or whatever. And go in, select all in their inbox, and delete the whole thing.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
There were exceptions. There were like people that maybe got information where that wasn't possible. But for the most part, 99% of employees went inbox 0 when they came back from vacation. We found that people started actually taking their vacations. We have people lasted years longer than we ever expected them to last because they weren't burning out, right? They felt, and then culturally they felt respected. They felt like we care about them, we care about their well-being by just telling them not to do work when they're on vacation, when they're not supposed to work anyways. Isn't that crazy? Like just reinforcing what we expect, and then we got incredible outcomes from them.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. You can visit our website, cpatransformation.com, or visit our channel on YouTube at tax1099.com for more episodes, clips, and discussions with industry leaders.